So for our next example, let's decompose 1 and 5/100ths a couple different ways. So I know putting in my place value chart, I can look at it as 1, 1, 0 tenths, and 5/100ths. But I can also bring this 1 backwards, unbundle it, and use 10 tenths and 5/100ths. So that would be equivalent. These two numbers represent the same value. I could also say and bring these 10 tenths backwards and say that's the same thing as 105/100ths. So all of these numbers represent the same value. The only thing we've done is we've unbundled or decomposed each number and brought it backwards. So which decomposition would best help you divide by 5? Well, for me, I can see that when I have 10 tenths and 5/100ths, 10 and 5 are both easily divisible by 5. So let's start with our tenths. 10 divided by 5 is what? That's 2. Now, is that 2 ones? Because I'm dividing 10 tenths. So no, that would be 2 tenths. Next, we can move over to the hundredths. What is 5 divided by 5? That's 1. Is that 1 1? No, it's 1/100th. So now that I have my quotient in unit form, I just need to transfer it to standard form. So what does 2 tenths 1/100th look like? Well, if I put that into my place value chart, I would have a 2 in the tenths and a 1 in the hundredths. And I know that I have to have something in my ones column, so I'm going to use a 0 as a placeholder. So that number would be 21/100th. So 1 and 5/100ths divided by 5. I decomposed it to represent 10 tenths and 5/100ths. Then it just became simple whole number division. 10 divided by 5 is 2. But since we're dealing with tenths, that becomes 2 tenths. And then I moved on to my hundredths place, and I said 5/100ths divided by 5 is 1. And since I'm working in my hundredths column, that became 1/100th. And then when I had my quotient in unit form, I just had to transfer it to standard form. So our answer is 21/100ths.